Hello and welcome to Unstuck with Charlie. My name is Charlie Arms. Yeah, all right. Today I want to talk to you about a contentious issue, an issue that is prevalent in our culture today, and we're going to have a conversation about racism. There's a lot of talk today in the media, on college campuses, in businesses, corporations, among people about diversity, equity, inclusion, commonly referred to as DEI. There's also another term, CRT, or critical race theory. Now, I'm not going to unpack the pros and cons of these movements right now, but I bring these up to illustrate just how hot this topic is. And if you haven't heard, there's actually a movie going into the theaters very soon, and the movie is called Am I Racist? So the volume of discussion on this topic tells you that racism and racial issues are still very much on the minds of people. And in this video, I plan to educate you on a Christian worldview about this topic. I want us to be informed. I want us to understand the biblical Christian approach to this topic. Okay, the first thing you need to know, and this is what the Bible teaches, is that there is only one race. You hear me? One race. It's called the human race. Now, I'm not saying that there have never been Christians or churches in history that have messed up biblical teaching or have had very bad theology. But I can tell you that if racism or the superiority of a race or division in the church has ever been taught, it had nothing to do with biblical teaching. It wasn't something that Jesus taught or is part of the fabric of Christianity. So a biblically minded and a biblically centered Christian will reject the entire notion of races. The races we refer to, whether it be Caucasian, African, Asian, Indian, Arab, Jew, according to the Bible, they're not actually different races. The Bible doesn't use the word race. Rather, they are referred to as ethnicities or cultures within one human race. The Greek word is ethnos. The Bible teaches ethnos, not races. The Bible uses words like tribe, nation, families to describe people groups. The word race comes from an entirely non-biblical worldview, and it means something very different today. Now, while there are minor variations in skin color and physical features, the biological and physiological variation among humans is very, very small. Now, we know this from a scientific viewpoint, but a biblical approach to the idea of people groups isn't that we are different races, but one human race. Okay? One human race. So the second thing you need to know is where the biblical basis for this assertion exists. Now, as you know, I don't like to make things up here on this channel. We like to go straight to the Bible. And the understanding that there is only one race is pervasive throughout the Bible. Starting all the way back in the book of Genesis, you have to see that human beings are equally created, male and female, in the image and likeness of God, right? We read that in Genesis 1, verses 26 and 27. There is one woman and one man from which all life springs. All life originates with Adam and Eve. Logically, are you following me? This means that we are all brothers and sisters. We are all one people, one family. Now, variations in skin color and other physical traits are recessive genetic markers from the first humans, Adam and Eve. Well, then I want to shift to Jesus, okay? God's Son, Jesus, came to earth in order to give himself to do what? To save the world. We read the words, God so loved what? The world, that he sent his Son to lay down his life for us. We read that in John 3:16. This verse is the gospel in miniature because it sums up the main premise of Christianity. The world obviously includes all people, all ethnic groups. The only distinctions ever made between people in the Bible were in the Old Testament. We had the Jewish and the Gentile. So the Jewish meant the people of God, right? The called, chosen people, right? And then the Gentile, meaning everyone else who wasn't Jewish, right? This distinction isn't a distinction about physical qualities, but it's about spiritual qualities. It was about culture, not appearance. Later, however, the Bible even dispels the difference, this difference, in light of Jesus. In Galatians 3, the Apostle Paul said that in Christ there is neither Jew nor Greek, slave or free, male or female. We are all one. So first, we are all one human race. Two, there is a pervasive biblical foundation for this principle. And now three, where did the idea of racism originate? Well, I don't know that you can truly answer this, but logically, we can assert this ideology comes from ignorance. Now, this isn't always ignorance in terms of a lack of intelligence, although sometimes it may be, but it's really a lack of knowledge, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of anyone who looks different, who acts differently, who has different customs and behaviors. Racism has been around as long as there were people who look different, right? Sadly, it will probably always exist in some form, somewhere, until Jesus returns. However, I can clearly say that racism doesn't originate with the Bible. I could point to Charles Darwin in the 1800s, who wrote a book called On the Origin of Species, by means of natural selection. And if you read the rest of that, it says, or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. You see, this book was published in 1859, and I know racism existed well before 1859, but this science book actually popularized and mainstreamed the idea of race and was the source of superior races, right? A lot of racism in cultures around the world trace its roots back to this kind of ideology. Now, I'm not going to put all the blame on the pseudoscience of the theory of evolution, but this idea was very dangerous. Evolution, in many ways, had more to do with racism and movements like the Holocaust and eugenics and mass sterilization of minority populations. So there you have it. The Bible and Christianity rejects the very notion of race. There are no races. There is no racism according to the Bible, right? We are one people, we are one race, and properly understood, we are one blood, tracing all the way back to Adam and Eve. Now, in my next video, I'm going to discuss how we can overcome racism in our society. One person, one situation at a time. So look for that video soon. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified when something new comes out. Let me know what you think. Get in the comments below and let's talk about it. Have a great day and let's move forward.